Yeah, now stand and cheer for your Talking Basketball Podcast.
Hello, welcome to another edition of Talking Basketball Podcast. I am Mark.
Man, too much going on.
Too much going on for you. He's forgotten his name.
There's a clap. Well, Paul. Oh, I got the echo on as well. Bloody hell.
It's all going wrong. It's all
Jeez.
going wrong. Love it. So thank you very much for tuning back in for another edition of Talking Basketball Podcast. This week, we're going to be talking more about the Superleague basketball. And we are in the trophy round 4, I believe. So I always get confused. This is the trophy, not the cup of the SLB. The trophy.
Superleague Basketball.
I really should take the stuff
better.
away from you, shouldn't I?
That sounds better. Hey, before we go anywhere, Mark, can I just have a shout out that, I'm about to take a little hiatus for a few weeks to enjoy some sun in the beautiful city of Orlando. However, we have got some absolute smashing guests. The interviews are going to start rolling back in again. We've got some absolutely fantastic guests lined up already.
Yep.
Some really interesting topics as well.
Yeah.
Unusual ones for basketball podcasts.
Yep.
But just want to say, if there are any guests out there who are like, look, I got a story. You don't have to be an NBA player. You don't have to be an SLB player, BBL player, whatever it is. You just need a fun story or an interesting story that's got some kind of association with basketball. If you want to be on that, on the show, email ukbasketballpodcast@gmail.com.
I'm going to go one further, actually. Some people may or may not want to come on the show or may only have a short story that they want to share. So if you've got that, like Paul said,
message and we'll read it out.
Yeah, exactly.
We can do anonymous readings as well if you've got a really good one.
Yeah. So we can do some we can make up some creative names if we need to blank them out.
No, we'll just use Clive Spate. We'll go with that one.
This person's name is
Clive Spate is back with a new story. Clive Spate stories. Clive Spate.
Nice. So,
do you know where Clive Spate comes from?
No.
Do you know when I said I used to play football and we play for that club?
I know where spated comes from. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what we used to say. Oh, you've just been spated. Anyway, so as the football club, we used to register a guy called Clive Spate.
Right.
And if anyone got a yellow card, you said to the ref, "What's your name?" Clive Spate. And he wrote Clive Spate down. So whoever got booked first did that. If you got a red card, Clive Spate. So Clive Spate got all the worst bookings of the season, and it just meant you had your key players could carry on playing, because as you were going around the country at that level, people don't know who the individuals are. And it was really funny. At the end of the season, we would have played, like, let's say 25 games. Clive Spate would have had like 4 red cards or 5 red cards and 17 cards. Oh dear, and he would have like a £400 fine that we'd all chip in and sort out for him. Anyway, that's Clive Spate.
Blimey. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that you went on to then do refereeing where you're supposed to be by the book.
Anyway, right.
So, round 4 of the SLB. It's been a busy week. Last week we only had 4 games. This week we had 7. It was a marathon to go through. And what was confusing, excuse me, for some people, is it's worth mentioning, and I'm going to highlight it first. There were 2 teams with Bristol and Newcastle who also played in the ENBL.
Yeah,
so they had 2 games on the Wednesday, I believe it was. So one, I think Bristol were at home, but Newcastle were actually away. So they had got on a plane. And I think that might have had an effect going into the week. But regardless of that, it's been quite a busy week for a lot of those teams. But for fans, it's been brilliant because there's been loads and loads of games that everyone can tune in and get on with. So I guess without further ado.
Where are you starting, Mark?
Well, let's start at the very, very first game, which was on the Thursday, which they used to do, or they did last year, where it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then these first 2 or 3 weeks, we've just had Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays. I don't know if I like a Thursday game. I think that might be quite difficult attendance-wise for people.
If you're a true fan, you'll be there. Fact.
Oh, blimey.
Fact.
Well, I mean, yeah, it depends if it's...
Who was playing?
It was London Lions versus Bristol Flyers.
Oh, okay.
Yep. That was all right.
Bamberg. That's who Bristol were playing.
Yes.
So they came into this game after a loss to Bamberg?
They lost to Bamberg, yeah. And Newcastle played... I'll have to look it up. I shall look it up.
Oh, no. Yeah, and it was in Bristol, wasn't it?
Yes.
And then they were going to London.
Yep.
Into look, I listened to the listeners, Mark.
Oh, did you?
And I've had a few messages about bringing this back, and they said, "Why have you stopped doing it? We liked it."
Oh no, really?
London Lions. When you go to London Lions, you go into the Palace.
Oh, okay. There we go. Bamberg, you were correct.
Yeah, Bamberg.
But they played in Bristol, and that was the important thing. Whereas I think it was Group A, if I believe. Yep. So Newcastle, when they were playing,
but Bamberg, no pushovers. They're a decent team.
No, they are. But they were playing. Go on then, Paul. Let's have a go at this one. Have a go at that name. I'd go Spisky.
Spisky,
Retiri, I guess. Yeah, Spisky Retiri. Why not? Let's have a crack with that. But that was Newcastle Eagles, and Newcastle, they won that game. But I think it's important, but these were two very, very strong games that they played.
The European games definitely have an effect. You can see it.
Yeah, 100%. But I thought that's worth mentioning before we go into the league because it makes a big difference.
Yeah, and then you have like Bristol losing to Bamberg, and then they're in the capital at the Palace.
Yes, they were at the Palace.
You like that one? The Palace.
I like the Palace.
Well, I thought London Lions, royalty, the Palace. Got to be the Palace, isn't it?
Yeah. Sounds good. So,
but interesting. RM Wright wasn't playing.
No,
and yeah,
I was. What I can do as my shout out to start with. I loved the right at the beginning. I think it was Q1, and it was about 2 minutes left, and the commentary team raised a quote saying, "Oh, I think we've got. I don't know if any team has ever gone without shooting a three."
Yeah.
And then at that, and he'd made that comment maybe at 4 or 5 minutes to go in the first quarter, and then with 2 minutes left, Josh Bett got a message and said, "I've just had a message from Dan Routledge, and we've had Dan on the show. He's an absolute oracle, isn't he, of stuff." And
Mr. Stato.
Mr. Stato.
His brain is an encyclopedia, isn't it? Like nothing goes past him.
Absolutely. And he'd sent him a message saying, actually, it was in, I think it was a Caledonia game in something like December 2023. They went a whole quarter without shooting three or something. And that was my highlight because I thought, shout out to Dan, by the way, he's not feeling too well at the moment. But so he sent that from being ill, but he's like, I can't let that stat go away without being answered.
Hey,
I love that.
You wouldn't have thought he was unwell going, for a chest infection, whatever it is, with his commentary. I think it was the Newcastle game or whatever one it was, but whatever one it was, I remember thinking those two together are really good.
Him and Azania are brilliant. They were really, really good last season.
I like to think at the end of the text message, he said, "Yeah, actually, blah, blah, it was that." And then he just went, "Screw you, Josh." That's what I kind of like to imagine he put on it.
Yeah, probably just. I'm not going to read that bit out.
There's a little short for you there, Mark.
Yeah, I like that. But we can't talk about that game without Jaden Dallaire, should we say? Double, 23 points, 12 rebounds. Or as you would like to say,
23 points and 12 rebounds, Mark!
That's the one.
But also, Soko with 14 points, 11 rebounds. Yeah. He also got a double-double.
He stepped up in that game for sure.
And I really liked Adebayo. Him on the board, especially, I wrote leading the charge.
If you look at the score, it's one of those games where you say, oh, they won by 11 points. But actually, that was a fought game. I think that comes through the whole week. all of these games were really, really well fought games. They were very physical in some respects as well. But that was not an 11-point game or a pushover. That towards the end they maybe
that was a hard. He talking about the coach. When you listen to people being interviewed, there's a general spiel that you've heard a million times, but every now and then you see it. They come out of it and it's like, well, you know what? My coach said this, and you're like, oh wow, you're actually getting a really good answer from you there.
Telling you something.
Yeah, saying something that's not rehearsed, especially like Premiership football. You hear it all the time, like that rehearsed thing. But yeah, I thought listening to him afterwards, he was great, and the way he was talking. But my favorite thing I had to highlight this was Evan Walsh. So he got 15 points. 1 rebound away from a double-double, so he had 9 rebounds. But one of the highlights of the week when he was driving in and kind of, as he's falling to the floor, throws the ball up, bounces off the glass and into the basket.
Yeah.
Play of the week for me. Or no, definitely top 3. I love that. Evan Walsh. Brilliant. But London, you know, they got the win. They only had 2 3-pointers that whole game. But they also did out-rebound the Flyers. And they had 13 steals to that as well.
Yeah, there wasn't many...
Second chance
There
points,
wasn't
all
many
that.
threes jacked up in that game, which I was kind of surprised about. When you associate London Lions, certainly last year, obviously they're very different teams now. But last year, if you'd say 3-pointers, you'd be like, well, the Lions. Because of like Matt Morgan and everyone, etc. So it makes a big difference with those guys not around.
Yeah. But, yeah, look, London got their first win.
Good game. So here's the question.
Not that it matters much.
You mentioned it last week. Home court advantage. Was that the thing this week? Because it seemed to be.
I don't know. Let me just quickly go through it. London, no. I'd say it's an even spread.
Yeah. So when London were playing, obviously they were playing Bristol at the Copper Box, and they won that one. So you think, yeah, okay, that's it. The next game we roll on to, Caledonia, playing Sheffield Sharks. That was a great game.
What a game. Hey, right. I've got a really valid point here.
Oh, no.
A valid point.
It's worrying.
And it also includes Bristol Fires a little bit with Jard Sherfield from Bristol. Yeah. So anyway, but we're talking about Caledonia Sheffield Sharks. So Grooves, what's his first name? Where's number 34? What?
I was going to say Tom, as in Tom Cruise.
Not Cruise, Grooves. Grooves.
Oh, I couldn't help it.
What is being highlighted to me in this trophy competition is the fact that buckets make a difference. The points that you play against teams, so Caledonia, Sheffield Sharks, those points against those teams make a difference. Or could make a difference.
Yes. Yeah.
So Grooves gets the ball. There are 6 seconds left on the clock. They're up by 13 at the time. And he goes through, gets to, and the foul.
Yeah.
Now, what drives me nuts, and I want to ask someone and say why they do it. It's a very American attitude. At the end of the game, start dribbling the ball, and they might do it for 20 seconds.
Yep.
And let it go. I love it in the NBA where someone drops it, and then someone quickly picks it up before the time goes, and it takes that's a turnover and a steal.
Yep. There was a gentleman's agreement, wasn't there? And last year there was quite a few teams who would go against that.
Well,
and they were
it was
really
because of the NBA Cup, and they were like, no, points matter here.
Yep.
We want to beat you by 50.
Yep.
Like, it doesn't matter. But it ruffled a lot of feathers. And look, there's a huge American influence in the SLB, definitely this season.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting that it was 2 Americans that did it this week, and it was like, all right, like, I love it. I love it. Play to the whistle. Like, look, it drives me nuts when you see teams bouncing the ball. Yeah, great game. Yeah, it's still 20 seconds on the clock. You might have lost, but you're now going to lose by 16 rather than 13.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but that was one of the takeaways for me, that I love it. I love it. Play to the end of the game.
I love it.
I love it.
What was my takeaway? I love it. Look, I agree. I think for me, it again, like from last week, you look at the Sharks this year compared to the Sharks last year. I won't say they were mid-tier, if that makes sense, last year.
I don't know.
Sheffield Sharks, they were mid-tier.
Depends on what part of the season you think about, but yeah.
At the beginning, no. And then they crept their way up, and then they were going towards that middle bubble. Now you're looking at them like they are a strong team this year. They're a strong team.
Apparently.
And a team. I think that's the word. They really play well as a team.
Apparently they had a really bad trip up to Caledonia.
Oh,
like really bad.
Oh, no.
I don't know the details. And but yeah, it was like they left Sheffield and it was like 8 hours later, Caledonia, or whatever it is. But they didn't have a great coach journey. It was being talked about during the game, but they didn't go into any details other than say it was a bad journey.
Well, that was Caledonia who went to Sheffield, wasn't it? Not Sheffield to Caledonia, I think it was. It was Caledonia who travelled down. I believe, wasn't it? Wasn't it? Or was it the other way?
Sheffield went to Caledonia.
Oh,
this
okay.
This is 1894.
Yes, but Caledonia were fatigued. But why were they fatigued? Why were Caledonia fatigued?
They're playing a lot of games.
Yeah. All I saw was the interview at the beginning, and they were like, "Yeah, we've had a rough."
Looking at Gareth Murray as well.
Yeah.
I think it was at the end of the Phoenix. No, it might.
It was
it might have been that game. You saw him at the end. It's like
tough
death stare. Like
yeah,
they're just going for a bad rut.
Yeah, they are.
They'll be right. They'll be right.
We've got to talk about Prentice Nixon. 19.6 steals, and that was like, I know Prentice Nixon, his name kept popping up more and more as the season went on last year.
19 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 6 steals, Mark!
You can't help it, can you? It's like some monkey in a cage. Like,
second season back now, showing a bit more confidence.
Yes, most definitely.
He was talking about...
but his confidence grew right towards that end of it last season. He really stood out for me. And now coming into it, he's just taking off.
He was talking about team play, chemistry and stuff like that after the game. And it was like, look, they're gunning for it. Cheshire might be above him, but they're like, look, we've only lost 1. 2.
I'm also going to give Sheffield a shout out for their kit. Way better than last time. Because their kits, there was 2 that were on this week that we saw them play. Both of them are better than that grey abomination last season.
I like the grey one.
On TV, maybe up close, but on TV it didn't translate very well. But then
what's the home one? One looks like the Pacers, Indiana Pacers.
So that's the away one.
What's the other one?
The other one is like the grey one, but it has some little lines in it.
Oh yeah, that's all right. Yeah, that's all right as well.
It's the same thing again. They both got the lines in, and you go, I like it. It looks much cleaner. But yeah, that Indiana kit one, that is
your brand, the stripes.
I don't know. Yeah, I just love it.
I do that. No one else is doing it.
No, I think that's really good. I do like a stripe kit.
But look, same thing as last week. Their effort in the fourth quarter won them that game.
100%.
And
100%.
I think it's 30-16 in the fourth quarter, and 64% shooting. And you got to talk about the difference in steals in the fourth quarter that they had. Big impact. I just think Gladiators are just a bit unlucky at the moment, just looking through all the stats and stuff. Dubose finding his form. He had 25 points. Fraser Malcolm, he started finding his range. So, I think Caledonia got things to be happy about. It's just not going their way at the moment.
No, I agree. I think there's I want to say not, maybe is there a piece missing? Is it? I don't know what it is, but like people would have said there was fatiguing, possibly. But again, another really good game. And does the scoreline reflect the entertainment of the game, no. I'm enjoying watching the Sharks play at the moment. I really am. I think they're definitely going to be one to watch this season. Following on from that game, though.
I can't remember if it was... No, it wasn't that game. It was...
We got to roll into Newcastle Eagles versus Cheshire Phoenix. And
what a game that was. Great basketball game. A tough, physical game of basketball. My kind of game.
69-90. On paper, it looks like the Eagles got battered. Is that a reflection of the game, do you think?
You did have Cheshire. I mean, look, Cheshire were good. They had six guys in double digits. Kristen, 18. Holden, 19. What if you look at the stats? 19 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists. He almost had a triple-double.
Yeah.
He had a triple-double last week. Austin Jr. is back. 10 points. I don't know what his name is. I don't know what they all call him.
What, LA Baby?
I'm calling him the Rock. Like
who? Larry Austin Jr.
RJ Etel Rock.
Ah, yeah.
Maybe call him the Rock or Rocky. I don't know. But he got 10 points.
Yep.
White, 11 points. He also got a double-double, 11 rebounds as well. And Atwood, double-double, 15 points, 11 rebounds. I mean, there's 6 of your guys in double digits, 2 with double-doubles, 1 almost at a triple-double. Like, Eagles put up a lot of shots.
Lot of shots,
and they were 38%.
Yeah, they weren't dropping
shooting.
At all.
They put a lot.
But
14% beyond the arc. They made 3 were made. They made 3 3-pointers compared to Cheshire, who scored 9.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And I mean, mine was the fourth quarter where it was a 15-point deficit, 30 for 15. That Cheshire just put their foot down, and you go, that 15 points, if you say they were equal, for example, in that fourth quarter, then you suddenly look at the score and go, hang on a minute, that's only a 6-point game. It's like that fourth quarter, they absolutely hammered them.
Yeah.
But I've got a special shout out for this one. End of Q1, I've put it in the note, I think it's about a couple of minutes left. Everyone see we've got a TBO there, and I'll put my notes up on it. There was the little squidgy, the kid came in. Did you see him with the floor scraper thing?
No, what happened?
No, just some sweat on the floor. Nothing fancy. He owned it. He had his gold.
Yes.
He had his gold jersey on, and it has like the Hornets on the front. So I'm assuming the Hornets are the junior team for the Eagles. But it was like a gold jersey. But he came in with that mop and he owned it. And he's like, I'm keeping this job. He did his job, and then they got that, and then he ran back up. I wanted to give him a shout because that would have been
a legend.
Well, it made me smile because you go, we've talked about lots of other people around who make a basketball team happen, from the people who volunteer to the coaches to the back office staff. But you often forget people like the equipment managers and the ball boys or girls and all the people who are just there just to help do a one thing. But I love it. I love seeing
what a legend that kid is.
Yeah, absolute shout out to him.
He's been doing that all season.
Number 73 of the Hornets. That's what he had on his back. So
I remember you used to get players like Colin Irish and Alan Cunningham and stuff like that, where they would have sweat on the floor, and the mop boys would go on and do it, and then they would wipe their brow and just flick a bit more, and just and they'd all be putting more sweat, so the mop boy has to do more. So just going back to the Eagles. My note was, I just thought the Eagles lacked efficiency.
They did. Was it a foul at the halftime?
Or you're going to have to be more specific or show me.
So in the Eagles...
There's 7 games here, Mark.
In the game, there was a conjecture whether it was a foul or not. They went to the refs. And then in the end, the refs were
who was that? Is it where that guy threw up that prayer?
Yeah,
that one?
Yeah.
That's Tyreek Scott.
Yep.
Tyreek Scott.
Just before
Grayson
halftime.
With the prayer. Yes, it was over Seneca Knight. I did write that down. Was it a foul?
It was literally on halftime. I think it was at halftime. And then they called it.
If it's the one I'm thinking of, it's number 7, Seneca Knight for the Eagles. And he... I
don't know. While you were doing
he wasn't happy that it was a foul.
No, for sure.
But
yeah, I
was it a foul? I'll be honest. I didn't I didn't think it wasn't a foul, but I didn't pay that much attention to it in the sense of I just thought that's what's happened. That's what's been called. I didn't question it.
No.
So, yes, it probably is my answer.
I can't put it up, and I remembered why, because we tried it last week.
If it's the one I'm thinking of where he absolutely froze up an absolute prayer, and it was like a big teardrop going in. Yeah. Why is no one talking about Del Pesh at the moment for the Newcastle Eagles?
You got me.
He's got the Rodman look. I'm loving it.
He has got the Rodman look.
He's got the Dennis Rodman look. He is rocking it.
Did he hit a big three?
He is rocking it in Newcastle.
Yeah.
Look, you can't miss him on the court.
You certainly can't.
Where's Del Pesh? There he is. But also, look, just getting a bit serious for a moment. It was, I think, a first for Jack Hudson, who was head coach for the Cheshire Phoenix.
Yes.
Don't know why. It sounds like a family matter or something head coach Ben Thomas had to deal with.
Yep.
So we all hope whatever that is, he's good and that all works itself out. But, great result. Jack Hudson coming into the game and getting an impressive away win in a tough, Virtu Motors Arena.
Yeah.
I loved it when he cheered. Like, there was some play, I think it was in the third, and he kind of came out and he did this like little double fist pump. Like, he was so excited. It was like, yeah, you got your win. That's good.
Look, I was just, again, after watching the London Lions game and then the Caledonian game, then we see this game and you go, this is the third game in the week and everything's been really physical. And all the games have been hard fought. And you think, not just is this a return, but this is actually a really good thing that's happened, not for the league, but everyone wants it. And my note on it was actually not just for the players, but it was the crowd. In that game, you really heard them. You really,
I think
really heard them.
Newcastle got arguably some of the best fans in the UK.
Well,
I love that. I've never noticed it before. Look, what's the thing we were watching called? Dance. How do you say it? Dads?
DAZN.
DAZN. All right.
Yeah.
DAZN.
Looks like DAZN, but
DAZN, but it's like DASZ.
DAZN.
Oh, DAZN. Is it DAZN?
DAZN.
Okay. But what I love about their footage is you're watching the show almost a little bit like the Newcastle Eagle fans, and I loved all the the Eagle logo lights spinning around the court and the intros and stuff. Like, you got to argue. I'm still waiting for that Leicester home game to compare, but you got to argue. Newcastle got one of the best entertainments.
Yep.
For a basketball game in the UK.
They're doing
everything right, and the crowd go around the entire court, which some teams can't do, but they go all the way around the court. And it feels similar to all the NBA game. Bam, dun, dun,
they did the same thing.
Dun, 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 all that.
Yeah.
But I thought Sheffield's was really good as well. I love Sheffield's. I like the fact that they darken out the crowd. And all the light kind of focuses on the court. Which is what they used
to do with Plymouth.
Caledonia do that as well.
Yep.
It's really interesting. Some of the teams got their own style.
That can play havoc with sometimes the video quality, which I'd understand because then you've got something really bright here, and then so that can play havoc.
The entertainment side, I don't know if handcuffs have just come off or something, but it feels like entertainment-wise, or maybe we're just picking up on it because it's now there.
I think you're right, and so that's why I won't say it was a common thing, but in my next one, it's the same thing. There was lots of music. There was lots of atmosphere. And
atmosphere is the word, yes.
So
atmosphere. You can feel the atmosphere coming across.
That was in the
I want to be there.
Surrey 89ers versus the Leicester Riders. Lovely little segue. But Leicester, totally undefeated. They overcame it. A start that at first I thought the crowd were actually, they were proper sixth man on that Surrey versus Leicester.
Because Surrey destroyed the, at the start
Q1,
of the game. It was like, all right.
Was it something like 17-2 or something like that? And you were like, what is going? The crowd were going mental, and you could hear like horns, everyone clapping, cheering, and that's only a venue with seating on the one side. And the noise in that place and the sound that they got from it, you went, that feels like a real, that you want to be there. So, Matt, again, credit to DAZN and the people who are doing the broadcast. Because
it's coming across.
Yeah.
It's coming across on the TV.
Which is the only bad thing about probably the copper box, I'd imagine, where it's a bigger stadium.
Yeah.
They'd have to have it full, and it's never full. They don't even have the top rows open, and the row that are behind the seats, they made a mistake of showing a bit of footage, and there was no one sat there. Everyone sat around these three on the London one. So you go,
well, you would, wouldn't you?
If
you were doing that, you would be trying to get everyone on where the camera is.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So they've done
a bit like wrestling in America, where you know what they do? It all fill one half, then they'll open it up, a bit like that.
And they've done it a couple of times where you go. They've done shots, and I think one of the games was that the previous game we were talking about. They did a shot, and it was down the sides, and it was Newcastle, and there was people everywhere. The game before that they did it, you go, oh, there was a few spots here and there, and you go, that doesn't work for every.
I think Newcastle people turn up late. They're a bit like Miami. They turn up late, because I was watching that game against Cheshire, and it was like, man, there's not many, like it's half full.
Yeah.
And then like 3 minutes later, bam, full up. And you're like, oh, right, okay, cool. They just all turn up late, or there's a bar or something like that.
And credit to them, because when it's like full up, the same as the Bristol, same as the Surrey and Leicester game. When you look at that, it's like, that's full. It's full. Like you can hear that is full. And I don't know what happened. Because it seems like Surrey had control of that game, and the crowd were just willing them on, and everything was going. And it wasn't that Surrey played bad basketball. It's just suddenly Leicester just found the groove, and it was just point. Okay, now it's like a 6-point game, and you think, wow, that was a quick. But it just, and then they got sort of 7 or 8 points ahead, and then they just kept it. They just kept that little gap, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to consider those 15 turnovers that Surrey made.
Yeah.
That, you know, they did dominate at the start of the game. However, it's interesting you talk about how loud the home fans were, because you've got to talk about the Leicester Rider.
I know, they were
traveling
loud.
fans.
Yeah.
And I actually
red shirts there.
Well, it's great to see in the UK, because like in America, it'll be away fans will be people who live in that city, won't they?
Yeah.
Now, if you said to Americans, you can go and see LeBron James play, but you got to drive 4 hours, they'd go, oh, okay. And that you would have that traveling fans rivalry. But look, you got to shout out to the Leicester Rider away fans for traveling. They were making a lot of noise, and it was just something I picked up on. Like, man, they're loud. They're loud, and it felt like that energy kind of translated on the court. But yeah, like
they were definitely at the beginning. The Bristol fans, Bristol, I keep saying Bristol, Surrey fans, really just. We've seen it with the Portsmouth Force games. Someone drops a couple of shots, then you get another quick shot, then you get another, and like the fans then get into it, and everyone's really behind it, and suddenly the team's got momentum. And I actually had to go back after when it got to sort of maybe halfway through Q2. I actually went back to the beginning and trying to work out where was that inflection point, because we've seen it in games where there's a big foul, there's something happens, there's something that changes, and where's that turning point in the game? And it wasn't as yes, there was some turnovers, but it wasn't as obvious in that one. There wasn't one big major thing, I didn't think.
I thought Zach Jackson with his 21 points was a big impactful player. However, Mark, I'm going to call the SLB out on this. There is only one Action Jackson. They're calling this Leicester Rider Zach Action Jackson negative.
No.
There's only one Action Jackson. He used to play in the BBL for the Thames Valley Tigers. So SLB, British basketball, you need to stop calling Zach Jackson Action Jackson, because there's only one Action Jackson, and he lives in Southampton.
That's right. Don't you forget it.
There you go. There's a little short for you there, Mark.
Yeah, it's a nice little shout out, Mark.
But yeah, look, that was really funny. It was, I think it was him. I'm sure it was him. That dunk that he had. Someone missed a shot. He got the ball. And boom,
oh yeah,
like over the whole team.
Yeah.
And again, it was like, oh man, like sheer aggression, sheer power, and it's like, damn, that's what you want to see.
Yeah,
we've just had this injection of it.
The nice thing about all of these games, and I think it's been the theme for these first three previous rounds, all the teams they're up for it.
Yeah,
they're all out to prove. I won't say, do you think they're taking opportunity as a clean slate? I don't know. It's just everyone is out gunning for it. Like, I won't say the legacies have gone, but they go, okay, this is a new league now. You won 11 titles, so everyone's on 0 now. That makes a huge difference. Who's going to be the first ever to win the trophy in the SLB? That's a big deal. We saw what LeBron did when they had the very first in-season tournament. Well, now the Emirates Cup, but
legacy, ding.
Yeah. Everyone wants that legacy.
But it was interesting. You got to talk about the defense of the Leicester Riders as well. I think even the coach, Coach Rob, I'm not going to attempt. I know I will attempt it. Paternostro. He highlighted the second unit in particular about their defense getting them back into the game. I love that coach. He must. I don't know where he's from, but he must be around Boston, New York area, because he's got that accent.
He's a seasoned gentleman.
I'm your best friend, but if you cross me, I'm gonna kill you. He will be nice to you when you're nice, but he looks like, hey. You can hear it, can't you? Like,
there'll be no love lost there if you muck up.
He won Coach of the Year 7 times. One of the most decorated coaches in the BBL.
Yeah.
Former.
Exactly. So now he's on 0.
But look, hey, what I will say is Surrey 89ers, they have proven in this game that they can compete.
Oh, 100%. And again, just rolling back to that crowd thing. Yes, it's a new team. Yes, it's a new league. All that sort of thing. But it shows the love of the sport is there. They've got the crowd there. They've got people who want to see the team do well. That's all you can ever want. All you can ever want.
Just to finish this one, I can only apologise. I haven't got a name for the home venue of Surrey yet. I haven't thought of one. That's a difficult one.
Of the 89ers?
Yeah, it's a difficult one.
The Niners.
It was just the Niners of Niners.
Well, no, the Niners.
Exactly. No, not a nickname, a name for their home court. London, I came up. The Palace. Newcastle, the Eagle's Nest. Easy. Sheffield, Shark Tank.
You're a plonker.
Caledonia Gladiators, the Coliseum.
Okay, so next up, we've got Bristol Flyers playing London Lions. So what was the Flyers?
I have got one, actually. I have got one.
Go on then.
Bomber Command.
Bomber Command. Well, Bristol's the home of aviation, which is although
Bomber Command, Mark. You know what happens when you mess with Bomber Command?
See, that's surprising. I thought you'd have gone with Top Gun.
Well, I'm going to the venue Top Gun.
I'm going to Top Gun.
Yeah. But Bomber Command for now. I'm going to call it
Bomber Command. So the Lions were visiting Bristol. Now, obviously, the first game of the week, we saw the Lions and Bristol having a little game, and the Lions became victorious. This time, the Lions were visiting Bristol. Oh, how that changed.
Got a bit chippy.
It got a bit chippy towards the end.
Chippy's the word.
Yeah. I liked look, we'll get into it. Bristol.
But it was this game, Jared Sherfield scored 2 points, dunk right at the end.
Yes.
Look, they were up by like 20 odd points, and he was like, screw you, boom.
Well,
again, I love it.
Tennyson.
If you don't want to lose by loads, play some D.
Tennyson and Sherfield combined for 52. Two players combined for 52. That's absolutely dominated them. But what was nice is that they did it at home, And what I was loved, crowd chants. The crowd were going. It was another one. They were going absolutely crazy. At the end of Q2, when London's coach came out and started getting chippy with the refs.
Yeah, legend.
And what I loved was the ref was like, "Let's go into the tunnel and let's take it outside the camera view. Let's just take it out there and we'll carry on talking about that."
Oh, refs like, I'll apologise out there.
But yeah, that was, look, Bristol showed. I think they, picked up from their earlier defeat. Could have been, they'd already had a game the previous night. That does take its toll. They absolutely dominated London. London couldn't get momentum. And I will say that I won't say they missed a lot of opportunities, but they don't seem like a team that sort of is very cohesive. Whereas, and I don't know if it's just because Bristol have played a bit more together, or they do certain training, or they were at home, or what it was, but they just seemed more of a team. London didn't seem like a cohesive team. There's some good individuals.
Do you want me to say something controversial?
Go on.
I apologise to any London Lions fans, but look, London bottled it. It got chippy, it got tough, and Bristol won the battle on the boards, especially going up against London, who are a big team. It's like, look, you guys bottled it, you got shoved around.
Yeah.
You look at certain plays from like Keddy Johnson, that dunk that he had over Soko.
Yeah.
It was like,
he'll feel that one.
1-on-1, let's go. Boom, get out of here.
Yep.
Like, I mean, that aggression is like, Soko is a decent defender. We've seen him like this week.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, you just got dunked on and posterized.
He got 21 against Bristol when he was playing them, 2 days before or something.
Yeah. Hey, look, they need to bring these stills, these posterized stills. They need to bring that, that. You'd have one right there.
So that move, when they did that on the, it wasn't on the socials, that when they did the actual replay, if you watch it on DAZN, when they did a replay of that, the camera angles and stuff they use for some of these, they're brilliant. Like you
really
said,
good.
Because they're baseline and you're watching it like, oh.
And they usually finish with a graphic that says like Keddy Johnson, Bristol Flyers. At the end of that,
way better than last year's one, which I was
would
really surprised.
love it to go to a steal though, of like that, with like the defender like, you know what I mean? That'd be great. Actually, bring back the word when you posterize someone. Look, introduced to the UK. That's what it is.
Yeah, it is.
You don't get that, do you?
No, you don't.
Put that still. But I also just wanted to. He had that great. I'm going to call it a prayer in one of the other games.
Yeah.
But Evan Walsh, he got 15 points, 2 rebounds, and 6 assists. He was at Surrey. You got to argue that was a real good move for Bristol.
Yeah, very, very, very good move from him.
And
I just really liked seeing them do well. And again, another team where the home crowds were loud. You could hear it. You could hit that one in particular. You could hear all the music being played. They had the baseball music going. They had everything happening. Everyone's cheering along.
the styles are coming out. I'm finding.
I love it. So I think you're right. I think something has changed, and whether it's the way that they license, the way they do music, something.
It might be the legality around YouTube.
Well, the adverts and exactly, because there are some things that you can and can't do. So some of those things, it might be that they just cut it, copyright it.
It might have all been happening.
Yeah,
already, and we only picking up because YouTube's not going silence.
Well, I don't know. I think there is a bit more freedom now. I think that's one of the important things. There's a lot more freedom, and we're, like you said, we're seeing the character for each of the teams.
Yeah.
And so we're getting local hosts.
Yeah.
We're getting people sat there courtside watching the game saying, oh.
So and it's really good to see, because you have got different characters associated with the team. So by that, what I mean is, like, if you go to London, you go in the Palace, what you see is you'll have like maybe more the modern NBA sounds being played.
Yes.
Like the ding 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 ding, like more like bass, beat, rhythm, like R&B, whatever you want to call it. But mixed in with that is a British accent coming.
Yep.
Like, yeah, come on, we've got to say, like, what? No, I'd say a London accent. Yes. London accent coming in. But again, that's unique to that. But then you go to like Newcastle, they're very similar to what we're doing down with the Force, where it's like bam, 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 bam.
Yeah. Bristol are the same. I think Sheffield.
I will shout out, if any team want it, I've got some of the greatest entertainment things you can play. The one that everyone loves is the Jaws one. Dun, 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 and it gets quicker and quicker. Then you get psycho music coming in. Also, everybody clap your hands.
Yeah, the good old
I've not heard that one, but Sheffield, Caledonia, a bit more old school, like like they're playing like jump, and all that stuff. So I thought it's great.
But I think because of these freedoms, it might make sense that they are going through that educating the crowd aspect, and you do have that. You know, we've talked about it before. But yeah, that game was brilliant, and Flyers beat London in I won't say a wonderful win, but 23-point win. It's pretty emphatic, which has got to be good for them on their final game this week. After having been beaten by them in the copper box, it's probably nice to come back to ours.
Yeah, and I think
lessons.
That win seals a place in the Final Four. Yeah, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely. So let's go on to the next game. We got Sheffield Sharks versus Manchester, and this is the one where you just heard nothing but Sheffield fans.
Can I make a point about this game?
Go on.
DAZN, is that what you said? DAZN.
DAZN, yeah.
Do you know this is? And I've said this once before, maybe not last week, maybe the week before. Well, I was a little frustrated. You're sitting there waiting to watch the game, and it starts, and I've missed the first 5 minutes of the quarter, and I've missed the intro, and it's like, well, look, Newcastle, Sheffield, Caledonia, Leicester, I think will do it, but we're waiting for. Come on, I want to see it. I want to see the intro and stuff like that. But when it kicks in, I'm like, all right, there's 4 minutes left in the first quarter. Okay, it's 12-10, or whatever it was. That was my negative point for that game. I was like, oh, right, I've missed the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's annoying. I think what they're doing is really good, because they're having everyone locally do each of the productions. I think it's fair to say. I think the problem is there is an inconsistency between some teams and other teams. It's
not big. It's better than what it was.
Yes, but it is still consistency. It's like you can't have it across the board as different, because if you watch one game, then you go somewhere else, it might actually put you off watching that game. You think that quality isn't as good, or they don't show all the intros, whereas some of the others will show like the dancers in the middle of the court, or people going up and down. So
the Shark Tank is one of the best. Again, like I said before, I love the fact that they darken out the crowd. My note, dark crowd, great atmosphere, great entertainment. So one of the best.
I've got one that I pulled out for you in terms of thing. I can't show it because, again, we can't do this stuff for days. But at 1 minute 32 left, there was a free throw that was missed. And it's one of Manchester's, they take the shot, missed it, and they play wah, 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 wah.
Yeah.
Now, we've had things before where you're supposed to remain neutral when you do sound effects. I thought that was interesting, because that is not a neutral sound effect. If your opposition misses on a free throw, on the first of two free throws, and you play out wah, wah, that is not being unbiased.
I can't comment on it because I haven't read through the SLB rule book.
But I thought that was really fascinating, because we went through a thing very similarly with the National League here in the UK. Yes. And that thing is very specific, isn't it?
It is saying that around the announcing, you can't be biased.
Yes.
However, it does say if you want to do something to energize the crowd, you can do it, if it's for the entertainment of the thing.
But playing wah, 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 wah is
brilliant. I think brilliant.
No, I thought you'd like
but
it.
It's like,
but I was really like, oh, hang on a minute, can they do that? And I thought, because I've never heard any other basketball game where if someone misses and it's an opposition, I've never heard them play a negative sound against an opposition missing. And I thought, oh, is
they've
this
not
a thing?
come seeing a Portsmouth Force game then?
Wow,
when they miss, we do the. like something smashes or something like that.
Yeah, something's broken, but I've never seen it. Like, you don't see it in the NBA or EuroLeague or anything like that. You don't see those sort of things. I just thought that's hilarious.
Look, SLB, Basketball England, this one, Basketball Scotland, Basketball Wales, this is for you. Like, we don't have to be nice all the time. We don't have to be like, you've just missed a shot, unlucky. You're on the other team, but unlucky. Like, look, you're a big boy, you're a big girl, you miss a shot. Deal with it. What I would say is, for the entertainment of the game, everyone around, and they laugh about it.
Oh, yeah, they do.
And they're thinking, that's made them laugh, they'll come next game. Or another great one, if anyone wants to use this, referees, they bloody love attention, don't they? So when the referees come together,
all your trade secrets,
when the referees come together and they're like, yeah, so just have a little chat because everyone's watching us now, and you know, we got all goosebumps and we're feeling good, but we're not really talking about anything. At that moment, that's where we do the Jeopardy, dun 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 dun, and then announcing.
Put them under
the
pressure.
referees are, well, it's taking the focus of everyone's watching us to, we're now not taking the mick, but we're now highlighting that. Well, rather than sit in silence,
I'm saying
we're having a bit of fun with the crowd
100% agree.
that we're not sitting in silence.
No, 100% agree. 100% agree. They need to have that little.
But also, there is a Kill Bill sound.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun. We play that. If we think that we don't only do it once.
If it's
once a game,
controversial,
when it's a real controversial one and it goes against Portsmouth,
would you ever play a snowflake warning during a game?
A snowflake warning, snowflake warning, or children earmuffs.
Oh, no. So look, let's get back to this game.
Right.
Sheffield Sharks, Manchester Basketball. I do love the new Manchester kit. I just think it's a real shame they don't have a name. They're just called Manchester Basketball.
Manchester Basketball.
I do like the MCR stuff. I think it's good. It's very, very similar to the Bristol stuff last year. But we've got to talk about Rodney Chapman, 53% shooting.
Yeah.
21 points.
21.6 rebounds and 6 assists, Mark!
And 6 steals. You missed that bit.
Oh.
Yeah, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 6 steals, and 21 points. That's a stat sheet, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be impressed with that.
We also got to just highlight the hardest name to say in the SLB is the Sheffield Shark, Drake Jeffries. Say that really quick. He got 21 points as well.
Drake Jeffries.
Yeah, Jake Jeffries. You were just say
Drake.
Drake Jeffries. Drake Jeffries. Drake Jeffries. Jake Jeffries. Jeffries. Say it quick 5 times.
Drake Jeffries. Drake Jeffries. That's his name. Drake Jeffries.
Drake Jeffries. Jake Jeffries. Drake Jeffries. Jake. That is hard.
Jake, you've had more shout-outs than anyone else. But final game of the week.
Oh, can I just say?
Do it.
Del Pesh
in
that game almost had the greatest dunk of the week.
Or almost. We need to...
I don't know if the ref made the call. If he didn't, it was a bit harsh, but I can't remember. But he went to dunk it and it was going to... No, so did someone miss it and then he got the rebound, came in from the right? I can't remember. But I do remember he had like an absolute monster dunk, but the ball kind of bounced out the ring, went up and then went back down.
Yeah.
If that went in, that would have been
that went in straight off the bat. Yeah, that was...
Player of the week.
Hardcore.
Player of the week. But got to mention that. So,
Final
last game. Cheshire Phoenix versus Caledonia Gladiators.
Yeah. And
Cheshire Phoenix. I haven't got a home court name for them. I'm still thinking about that one.
Well, the Eagles have a nest. The Phoenix rises from the ashes, doesn't it? So what would you call it?
The grill. The fire pit.
The pit.
Dumbledore's office.
Yeah, nice. The bonfire.
I don't know. I'm going to think about that one.
The Phoenix.
That can be a good name. Very bright. Very bright in there.
The bulb.
The bulb. Yeah.
Look, I'm going to say out of the way, I still hate their kit. I don't know what's gone on there. I know that Cheshire's where they got. I can see it's kind of like
better. Sorry, better.
Yes.
Better. Hang on.
Incidentally, we've had thing about kits where apparently there may be everyone else's kits are. Well, I know we talked about last week. They might be now. You're starting to see some of the other kits come through with some of the other teams. So apparently that might be happening at some point soon. Because some of them still look like a real base practice kit or a. When you see some of the kits, and you see like not even a local league tee or lower divisional national teams, and they've got these really nice kits with all these cool logos and stuff, and they go, "Oh, and what's the top flight team?" And they go, "It's just like a red vest with a number on it."
I like the retro.
But some of them are not retro. They're actually when it's retro, you're saying like 1930s retro. It's not even like
they ain't got a kit. They just had to bomb it down.
We know
Nike.
why. We all know why, but still, apparently some of these kits are coming. But I think Cheshire's that is their kit.
It's a very British problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
I need a basketball kit. How long is it going to take? 3 months. All right.
And it will not look anything like what you've ordered. It will not be the same colour. The kit design might be different, and the lengths will be
very British problem, maybe.
The shorts will be too short, and the vests will be too long.
So, what size you want? Large, please, and then it will be like extra small.
Yeah,
what?
It's like large in the Philippines. Thanks, but look, Cheshire
closing in on that semi-final spot.
Yeah, 19-1 run in the fourth quarter. 19-1. If you are the coach at Caledonia and they're going on a 19-1 run, at what point are you thinking, what can we do here?
Yeah.
Especially when it's, a 21-point victory. 19 of those points came in that fourth quarter.
I feel for Caledonia because they've had consistently these fourth quarters that are just letting them down.
It's like they do this and then you get to the certain point. And
they're great games to watch.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
To the fourth quarter, it's like
you think 21-point game. You think, God, they've been hammered.
If I was playing them,
no,
and I was a coach, I'd be like, guys, fourth quarter, that's it. They're old. They're going to fold. Let's go.
This is the one you
I don't know if they're old, but it just rhymed with fold.
Nice. But you reference this one where you're saying, at the end of it, the coach is looking like I'm seething. Because he's just like,
I don't want to be one of those players.
No.
The day after that game, you just saw him and you was like,
no, you didn't.
I'd love to ask him. Like, that would be it. You know what? If I was a big Caledonia fan, we should do this, Mark.
Yeah.
And try and get it. Let's get a still picture of that where he's sitting there like, do not mess with me, I'm going to kill you. And when I go to Caledonia, I'll try and get him to sign it if I can.
Do you know what?
That can go up on the.
Do you know what we could do? I'd like 3 words underneath it with that face. And the 3 words would be, say that again. That would be the fake, because it was just like, go on.
I thought you were going to say
that.
Freedom!
But look, Cam Holden, absolutely explosive, 20 points, 10 rebounds, and The Rock, as you've now named him, with 19 points.
Rock or Rocky? Yeah, that's my note. Look, I put The Rock, Rocky, question mark.
Yeah. Now,
Taj Teague, 18 points, 5 rebounds.
I got 3 things on that, 3 things in this game that I noted. The first was, I believe, a missed called 3-pointer.
Wow.
Malcolm hit a 3.
Fraser Malcolm,
Q1. He was here, took the shot.
Oh, that's where the adjustment was at half time or something like that.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Because when you look at the shot, it's like, it looks like his foot is literally on the line. Now, Caledonia's coach is right here, so he ain't calling that. Don't worry about it. But the ref could cite that. And when you see the shot, when he lands a long way in the 3, and you think, you weren't traveling as you took the shot, so you didn't have that much momentum. So you were on that line to start with, and you can see it almost from the side. And I thought, that's a bit strange. But did you see the screen? I mean, you saw the screen from Jimenez when they just scored the bucket, and they were doing like a full court press.
Oh yeah.
And he like turns round, and the other guy, it's just like, you just ran into like a he just goes down. And
that is what you call
I have
entertainment.
Now I have a question for you on this. He was there and he was sort of like trying to get his breath like that. And the ref, she was like next to him, and she was like, had her hand above him, just checking, like, you know, you're all right and stuff. She went to put her hand, like, are you okay and stuff, was like, not sure. Like, she didn't know whether to, like, put her hand, are you all right, sort of thing. And then just sort of, like, hovered her hand and so forth. I'm not saying is that a rule, but I don't know with reffing.
I think she was trying to create some wind.
Well, no, I just thought
to give him some air, Mark.
It sounds really stupid, but like it looks like she publicly, she went to make, you know, like you would. We go, mate, you're right. Like she like genuinely went to that and then thought, oh, actually, maybe I shouldn't like touch. Not sound silly, but not touch a player. Like
maybe he was so sweaty and it was so wet. She
went, don't do that.
We all sweat on the basketball court.
If you want to go see it, that was an absolute just face punch. Like he just he didn't get punched in the face, but he just turned around and he just ran into this wall. And I played that back 3 times using that 10-second button. It was like every time.
That 10-second button is brilliant.
It is so good. It is so good. If they can just sort out the beginning and endings,
especially when the commentators, they sometimes say stuff and you go, what did you say? 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's great. It's absolutely great.
That's where all these random bits and nuggets come from when they say so. It's like, hang on. Right.
Well, my last thing on that game was I love the crowds. I 100% love the crowds, but I like the crowds with Larry Austin Jr. They were going mental for him because he obviously used to be a player there at the Phoenix.
He's just come back.
He's just come back
for Newcastle, was it? No, that's Larry Austin Jr.
Yes, Larry Austin Jr. But they've all got these T-shirts saying LA Baby on them.
Oh yeah,
and they were all wearing them. But the crowd was...
He played great.
So some of these games, they're capturing the sounds, the crowd, the effects, and you're listening to it like, this is so much better because it feels like you're not just watching something really boring and static, like, oh, there's a game.
I think this is DAZN's influence.
Yeah.
And they're like, someone put a mic up there.
I think you're right.
European basketball.
Because of that. That's exactly where I was going. All of the Euro stuff. The crowd is so important in these games. And they're capturing that. And massive, massive credit to them. Because you're seeing all these people, and it's not just, oh, there's just a load of randos watching. It's like there's families, there's whole groups of people from all walks of life, filling all these stands, and everyone's having a really good time and really getting behind it. And you go, that's what you want to promote. If you want to show promoting a game, show how much people are loving it.
Yeah.
If you said, oh, look how much the crowd are enjoying it, and everyone's sat there like,
yeah.
It's like, no,
that makes more sense. I didn't think of it. DAZN's influence.
Yeah.
Maybe there's quite a few factors all coming together.
And I think because they've got the local people, it's brilliant. But yeah, that would say that rounds up the trophy, but...
No, mate, it doesn't round up the trophy at all. Because before you go anywhere, you got to talk about Tyreek Scott Grayson with the rejection of the century on Dubois. That's brilliant. That is play of the goddamn week there.
And Dubois was having a few of them last year. So
but look,
he's a big guy.
It's not like he was going in like easy.
Oh no.
It's like, holy crap.
No, that was a hammer.
It felt to me like a Kobe Bryant moment.
Yeah, we saw I think Skylar White was it last week with a massive rejection, was it week 2? There's a huge rejection by him. The games are so physical.
I've got a theory about this. Oh, we shall conclude the week, I suppose.
Do it.
But just want to say, look, shout out to Cheshire and Sheffield. They had a perfect week. And, that 3-man race for the final 4. Eagles looking to sneak their way. Past the Sheffield Sharks. But let's see. But Mark, you got to talk about, and this is probably an episode.
Yes.
The American influence on the SLB.
Yeah.
You look at the teams, half the players are American now.
Yep.
Maybe with the exception of London, they've got quite a range of nationalities. But for the most part, most teams are half American, half British players.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the rule is. Maybe it's half-half. I don't know.
But
you got a good a good 5-6 Americans on every team.
I mean, look, we go back to the Colin Irish interview and Steve Nelson, and when they're talking about what they were doing back in the 80s, where it's like, have you got dual nationality? Great, you don't count against our toll and stuff like that. I don't know if they're still doing those sort of games as well, so it might be that.
Possibly, but if you actually look at the nationalities of the teams, there's a lot of Americans in the league at the moment. I'd probably say close to half the players will be American. Now,
the question is that good for the sport?
Well, that's what I was going to say. It is great, I think, from a physicality for this. I mean, look at the freaking plays we're seeing. Yeah. Like, get the crap out of here, like rejections and stuff like that. Listen to the interviews at the end of every game. It's always American. Look at who's doing the triple doubles, the double doubles. It's Americans all over the place. Now, so on one hand, yes, that's great. On the other hand, I would love to ask Mark Stuter what his thoughts are on that, because it's like, okay, well, is it affecting Great Britain and their
national talent?
Yeah, the pool that he picks from. But again, if you that talent, I mean, he's only picking what, 10 to 15 players. Yeah, he can get them from anywhere, all over Europe, America, and the UK. So I don't know, but I don't have an opinion on it. I would just love to know someone like his opinion on it. Yeah,
definitely, because we're looking at the league, and once they're not in an isolated way, but if you think this is where the talent pool is, I won't say nationally, but if you look at the top players, we've said this before, if you look at the top players in, it was up until recently, we said places like Greece, up until places like Spain, most definitely, and Italy, the top players in the leagues, by and large, are usually national talent. Yeah, there's a lot of the national players. I
remember Steve Nelson saying about it and saying that he felt it harmed the British pool of players.
Yes, for sure.
So, again, you cannot undervalue the influence of physicality, highlights.
It's brilliant to watch.
Chippy play that we're seeing.
Absolutely brilliant to watch.
That screen, bam, get on the floor.
Well, the question is, what's the impact of that on our national team? What's the impact of that on the developing teams? What's the impact of that on, say, like FIBA teams or going into the older national teams? What happens in those? You know, you're not just looking at this 1 or 2 years inception point. You've got to look at what happens in 5-10 years. Because if we look at other sports, certainly in not just the UK, but in all around the world, if you look at all their sporting programs, they'll say, I'm an Olympian, I'm training for the 2032 Olympics. And you're like, what? It's 8 years away. They're like, yeah. They're not. It's really narrow, near-sighted.
As soon as you're available, you're in that thing, they want to go.
Exactly. But the problem is, because there's been this battle of funding and battle of locations with the UK, it's always this fight to justify it. And so hopefully now, when you're seeing all these crowds, you're hearing the crowds, you're seeing how much people are enjoying it, you think, oh, actually, there's quite a lot of people in there. You go, yeah, there's a couple of thousand people watching that. And there's some of those stadiums, I think, if that was bigger, you'd still fill it.
Yeah.
I honestly believe some of those stadiums, you would fill it. It does frustrate me a little bit when they televise the Lions.
Then no one's there.
Because the court just looks so good, doesn't it? It looks so good. And then they televise it and you think, you're televising, and this part of the thing, all we see is empty. It's like...
It's the colours, as well.
I know that you've done it that way, but everyone knows that old trick now. It's like, it's gone.
Just going to the point you were raising a second ago, I do think by having the American players, if the British players are then competing with that, isn't that only going to be making the British players better?
Yep.
It may give them fewer opportunities, but yeah. What's your favourite home court? If you had to pick one. All right, if you had to pick 2.
Okay, all right. I'm going to do 2 with a reserve. London Lions, I think it's one of the best home courts.
Yeah.
I just think it is. I do like the Newcastle Eagles court, but that's my reserve now because...
I'm talking the package.
as a package.
Home day package.
Home day package. I think it's really Newcastle and Sheffield. I think they really are probably Leicester.
Well, I haven't seen Leicester's on the zone yet.
Okay.
The day zone.
I would, just from what you've seen on the highlights, those two really stand out for me because they've got the Caledonia's looks great, but I think some of the angles and some of the things they've done that way could be maybe improved.
Yeah. I like to have a 4-pack of beer and then sit and watch the game, and then you're sitting there just going, okay, yeah, cool, you could be there and enjoy that.
Yeah, and that's what I've loved about this week. You've really heard the crowds, you've really heard the music, the backgrounds. You've seen some dancers, and I believe it was the Caledonia game where you even saw them with the flags, and they were swirling the flags around at the beginning as the people were coming in. I was like, yes.
I think you've got...
I want to see that, but I want to see the whole of it. And so why you have a 3-hour clip on DAZN, and then it takes 15 minutes to start, and then you miss a bit.
Because they're waiting for the stream.
And then at the end, it finishes, and you think, well, what's the other 45 minutes for? I don't know.
You know, sorry, this is something that reminded me. You said that. There's no way the SLB record this, I don't think. But I think the Surrey 89ers and the Leicester Riders game this week was the quickest game of all time. It was a quick game. It felt really quick. But let's get
not
off
many
topic.
calls. Yeah,
I would put the home courts in, I'll say 3 categories. One which is like, look what we used to, very English or British, you know, arena. One side bleachers, maybe seats on the other side. Got the music, entertainment, great. Yep. You've then got the next level, which will be people like, I'd say Caledonia.
Yeah.
Where you've got both, and look, it looks great. And then I'd say you've got a tiny bit. We're talking minimalistic stuff.
Yep.
That just makes it a little bit more wow, which is that Newcastle.
Yep.
Leicester, I'm on reserve.
Yep.
But I haven't seen it this season. But last season, I remember one of the games thinking, bloody hell, that was Sheffield. Yeah.
And do you know why that is? Is with Caledonia, but I don't think they've pulled it off with the visual, so you don't get it as much. I agree with you there.
They've got these big screens on the wall.
And I think that would be amazing there, but something is missing between it translating onto the screen. But
I think it's the wall. I think what makes great when it goes all the way around. That's what I think.
So the 4 things, those 4 teams you've mentioned,
the entertainment, the noise, the lights.
What have those 4 teams all got in common?
Oh yeah. Let's not go down that.
No. But what is it? It's they have their own arena, and because of that, because they have their own arena, they have massive communities behind it, and that is why when you see those fans and you see how mad they are and excited, you go, all of these people are people who love basketball. So I'll throw this out to the London Lions. I think they should do it personally. I think some of the others should do it.
What, to answer one of our emails? No. Phone calls?
Yeah, that'd be nice. When we went to our last game in the States a few years back, we had people in the forces coming and sitting in there. Yeah. And all the teams do that. They'll have, if someone's from the forces and they're coming back on, go and have a seat, go and have a do. But they also did that for, I think, certain kids' schools or underprivileged kids and that sort of stuff. Personally, I think that's what they should be doing, especially in the nation's capital. If you've got the biggest arena that can house that many people for the upper deck, why are you not getting, there must be thousands of people who are underprivileged who had never been to experience a basketball game or something like that. Give them a ticket.
I agree.
Let them and if you said, if you're someone who pays for your ticket and you said, oh, well, the kids up there getting to watch that free, you'd be like, brilliant. I'm happy that I would pay an extra £1 on my ticket so one of them can go and do it. Like, why not do that? Because not only would you fill that, which visually would be great. I
don't even think they're opening it up, Mark.
No, they're not. You can see it, and you think that's a real shame. I just think Why not get the kids involved in these big places?
There is a pro to
Because
it, though.
when you see the Sheffields, the Leicesters, the Newcastles, the Caledonias, because they've all got big academies,
Yeah.
the kids are already there because they're like, you go to a force game. We had one at the weekend, and you had a junior game before. And what happened? There was loads of kids stayed around afterwards to watch the main game with all their families. So then you've suddenly got this huge crowd, and you go, everyone here loves the game.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
I have got a pro for empty seats
Oh no.
for London Lions. If you're sat there, we've all done it. You sit there. If there's empty seats in front of you, you can stretch your legs out. So that's a pro.
Have a little nap.
You can only do that in the Palace.
Well, Paul, we'll round up with this week. I'll put this on the screen for everyone so they can actually see it. I really like the fact they've included all the key dates. And the key dates I really wanted to highlight more than anything was that when we've got coming up, they've actually got the championship starting November the 1st. All the games begin.
Mark, we need to get our media license sorted out.
Well, we've asked them. We're just waiting. But here's the important thing. What is in between the end of October and coming up for the next the semi-finals of the trophy?
Halloween.
Yep.
My birthday.
Absolutely. But the December the 6th and the 8th, we can see here, is the trophy semi-final, right?
Yeah.
But they've actually booked out some dates for all of the Eurobasket qualifiers, which I think is really good. I just thought it ties in with what we were talking about with homegrown talent. You go, we've got also players from other countries. So they are actually, with the league, they're sort of, I'm not saying having a break, but they've actually got these bits where they've blocked out just for that. And I think it's the same goes through when they have other qualifiers in the future. They're going to be doing more of that just for loading purposes, which is great. But just for anyone who doesn't know, the first week of December, that's when the semi-finals happen for this trophy. And the actual finals itself is the very last weekend of January, I think it is.
What's that picture from?
The
Birmingham.
Yeah, Utilita, isn't it? Because that's where the main arena is going to be. Utilita Arena, and that's going to be January 26th.
Based on that, Mark, look, you're just going to quickly do the table, are you?
Yeah, we can do the table. Go on then, go for it. Well, we can go to this, and look, if you go to the table on here, it doesn't show you it.
There you go, standings.
Yep.
Trophy.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Now watch this.
Yeah, watch this. There you go. Scroll down. North and South. Top two teams go through to the Final Four.
But do you think that is good enough?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Stop being picky, Mark.
I want to see.
Fine.
I just want a third tab with it all in place because I want to compare. I want to see how Cheshire are doing compared to, say.
Yeah, but they're not competing against. North are not competing against South. I know what you mean. It'd be nice to compare, but
because at the moment, like you said, where we're standing, we're going into week 5.
As soon as you do that, though, people will be like, hang on, why aren't Newcastle going through? Because theoretically, they're higher and should go through.
Yes.
So that's why they're not going to do it.
No.
But Leicester are flying, undefeated so far. They are almost certain to get a spot in that Final Four. I think Bristol are looking at it, but let's see.
Well, I think it is Leicester, but I think that is a foregone conclusion. I think the interesting ones when you're looking.
Foregone conclusion, great name for a band.
Lovely. I'd love to say though, this is going to be the interesting one, isn't it? Because what's going to happen between Newcastle, Sheffield, and Cheshire when you've got the winnings for Cheshire? They've got the 5. They're pretty much set in. But what's going to happen?
This is why those fixtures between Sheffield and Newcastle,
so
when
important.
It goes to point difference in those games, that's
right.
So key.
That's right. So when we look at our final fixtures for the week coming up,
and look, Manchester.
We can do this live. It's exciting stuff.
Manchester down the bottom of the table. They're not in the sunshine.
Please don't do that
tonight.
No.
Know what I mean?
No.
That was a Manchester accent, Mark.
It was something. Look, how many games have Leicester got this week? Ouch.
Ouch.
Yeah. That's not fun, is it? So they're playing on a Thursday, a Friday, and then on Sunday. That's gonna.
It's go time.
Wow.
Fit or not? Let's go.
Yeah, but that's gonna be interesting for them. I think it does. I won't say making a difference, but I think they're gonna say top of that table. But there's the big one. Yeah, there is the big one.
If you got nothing to do on October 25th, go to the Shark Tank.
Shark Tank against the
Eagles are in town.
Yeah. And that is going to be, that's the big one, isn't it? Because look, Sheffield are against Manchester the very next day. So 2 days afterwards, and Newcastle are playing the day after that.
It's out of order to say it, but at the moment, Manchester are the whipping boys.
They're
However, their effort against Sheffield in the Shark Tank.
Oh, it's brilliant.
They were well up for it.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
It was like, oh man, and that's where it got really feisty. You never know. Are they going to do something in the Eagles' nest?
They're all a bit closer, aren't they? They're all that little bit closer. You're not saying they're going to brutalise them.
That home game against the Sheffield
Sharks and the Eagles.
Maybe
Sharks
2 days.
And the Eagles game. That is the big one, isn't it? October the 25th. That is huge.
That'll be
absolutely.
That'll
huge.
be like 2 o'clock in the morning for me.
Yeah,
where I am.
Where you are.
But on the same night, I'll be watching Orlando Magic opening fixture.
You will. This is very true. Against. Come on, you should know this by now.
I don't know. I've got a few games booked. I don't know.
Well, the last game you're watching is the Pelicans. The middle game you're watching is Indiana.
Is the Pacers, yeah.
The first game you're watching is. Come on, you're going and I'm not, and I know what game you're playing. Come on. Who are you watching? Who are you watching?
I've been organising a lot, Mark.
No, you haven't.
Yeah, I have.
No. Who are you watching?
Give me a clue. Do you know it?
Yeah, of course I know it.
Who is it? Give me a clue.
Ben Simmons.
God, I've just got Philadelphia stuck in my head now. It's not Philadelphia. I don't know, Mark. I don't know. Right, let's crack on.
Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah, Brooklyn Nets. Yeah. That's it. It's an expensive bloody game. Jesus.
Well, it is for you because you've got like 1 million people in your family, so that's on you.
Jeez.
More for you for having 10 million children.
Right. 5-minute episode, Mark.
Well, so ends another edition of the Talking Basketball podcast, but I believe you've got a special shout out.
No, I think you got a special shout out.
Really?
All right, I'll do it. Congratulations, Cheshire Phoenix head coach Ben Thomas on achieving 300 games coached in top flight British basketball. So they are counting the BBL, Mark. Fact.
Wow. We'll see. Look, 300 that's amazing. And we saw what they did last season, came together as a team.
What he's doing this season.
I was about to say, this season is just taking off from there. Having lost some key players as well. So massive respect to them. And I think this week is going to be...
You wouldn't think they've lost Aaron Wright, would you?
No, especially that he's gone to London. You wouldn't think that they've benefited because they haven't really. So
well, he's injured at the moment.
I know, but you know what I mean? It's like, wow, how's that working out for you? Anyway, enough about that. So it's another edition of the Talking Basketball podcast. That's right. There we go. Some music for you. If you have not listened to our previous season, we're on season 2 now. Go back and check out some of our interviews. We've had people from FIBA, we've had people from GB, we've had people all over the place, and we would love to speak to you as well. So reach out to us, ukbasketballpodcast@gmail.com, or check the socials. I've been Mark.
I've been Paul.